The internet. Hello. It's me from earlier. I'm Cameron Danger Straight Matter here at the Panic Table, and I have the strict pleasure of sitting down with Abra Nassiff of Wicked Oni Publishing. Hey, thanks for joining me here tonight.
Hello, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, it's really exciting. Wow, it is day 5 of Mothership Month, and Willikers, I can't believe it's going as well as it's. We were. So I have this conversation just before we start these conversations every time. But congratulations, dude. It is so exciting to see your project and all other projects. All 21 of them have just skyrocketed. How do you feel?
It is amazing. It is, I don't know, I think my body, like my mind still hasn't processed what's going on and what the little number in the backerkit campaign means.
Uh huh.
Like I see it going up, but like haven't sunk in enough
Yeah.
that there's that many people believing in my project. It's like, wow, did I do that?
And just jumping straight into the heart of the matter, this is your first crowdfunding attempt ever.
Yes.
Tell us about that. Tell
Yes,
us
it
tell us
is.
where you got started. Let's. I would love to hear your full supervillain origin story and how you came to be a part of the Mothership community. So let's just start with that small topic. How does that sound?
Oh, yeah. Well, I've been like a DM, GM, warden for about like since 2016, I think. Always GM, always DM, and I really like creating world building. So I've always tracked my players through like different worlds that I've made, and I really enjoyed that. But it wasn't until this year. Like I wrote some things for the community of D&D, but nothing like too big, like some magic items and that. But it wasn't until this year that I found old sci-fi writings of myself from 2012, 2014, and it made me think like, hey, why did I stop doing that? Like that was so fun to do, and I enjoyed that so much. Why don't I mix that with creating stuff for Mothership? But since my group, like my current group, is really small, it's only 2 players, I probably won't get to play the things that I write. So why not publish? Why
Totally.
not like give that to the community? Like do whatever you want with this. So yeah, my first ever module was around May, I think, and it started like from a reels on Instagram talking
No
about
way.
this yeah, talking about this tree called, it's an acacia that has like a mutualistic
That
relationship with a
was
colony of
you.
ants.
I remember
Yeah.
this. Keep going. Yeah.
Yeah, they have a mutualistic relationship with a ant colony,
Like a
where the
symbiosis.
acacia doesn't have.
Yeah.
Yeah, the acacia doesn't have like a natural defense mechanism, so it employs these ants to be their defensive mechanism. And when they defend the tree generates this nectar, this really sweet and amazing food that the ants like go crazy over. But that nectar changes their digestive system, and they are not able to digest anything except for that nectar. So they are tied to the tree, and if the tree dies, the colony dies. Like it's as simple as
Right.
that. So I was watching that. I was like, what if this, but a space station or like a virus? What about this, but mothership? That was my train of thought. And yeah, I started developing that. It's threefold, and it's a virus horror that changes people's digestive system as well. And I wanted to like, why would players go there? So
Totally.
the virus itself like mines data, but it's not finished, so it mines data and data and doesn't send it anywhere. So it's like this uh, mine of gold waiting to be mined by players. So they go with this like, oh, we're gonna get all this data and we're gonna sell it. But then you meet the crew inside of the station. They're a
Right.
bit weird. So yeah, and I wanted to make it a virus because it's easier to infest
Totally.
anything, infect anything. So that was my first one, and I really like what the Kowloon World City, what it was. I don't know how familiarized anyone is with that, but I don't know. It is my as a thing from 2 years ago. I think it is my Roman Empire. Like I really love how it came to be and what it came to be, and the people living in there, how they really like the place. Like from the outside, it was just like a nest of crime, but the
Right.
people living inside, they defended the place. They didn't want to get
Sure.
their home demolished. So like, why? If it's a nest of crime and lawlessness and all this, why? So when Sean like mentioned the theme for the Mothership Month being crime, and if we had anything around that, I've been wanting to do something for Mothership around Kowloon Wall City. I was like,
Yeah.
this is like the perfect excuse for me to just commit to this project and see it through. So, and here we are.
Incredible. Yeah, for the viewers at home, thanks for being here. We're so excited. Both of our projects are available right now on backerkit, and the month has just begun. They've already blown their funding goals out of the water, and that's thanks to y'all. So thanks for being here, and please, if you feel the spirit move within you to contribute to the Iron Hive or Dog Eat Dog, the links are right there below in the description. So check that out. Abra, I want to dive into specifically the Iron Hive and just kind of hear you gave us a picture of how you got there, but for the viewers at home, can you explain for the unindoctrinated, that's not the right word. That can't be the unintroduced. The those who don't know, tell us about Kowloon Walled City, and then give me the elevator pitch for the Iron Hive.
Okay, so the Kowloon Wall City was born. It was in Hong Kong, but it wasn't Hong Kong land. It was mainland China land. So it used to be a fort, a military fort, and since it was mainland China
Mm,
area under their jurisdiction, Kowloon couldn't do much. So it started accumulating like refugees and people that couldn't be on Hong Kong, and this went over the years and years. The fort was dismantled to use the walls for buildings, and since you couldn't expand horizontally, they had to expand vertically. So it is this packed section of land that it has inspired so many sci-fi dystopian things. Go ahead and look Kowloon Wall City because I dream with having a physical book that's called City of Darkness, which has
mm.
amazing pictures. I just love everything that has to do with Kowloon Wall City. And the Iron Hive kind of was born like that. It was this mining operation on an asteroid called XY90. And it was this rich asteroid, and corporations were fighting over it. Hive Corp Industries won that fight and settled the operation, and everything was going well. There was like corporate wars and mercenaries and all
Mm.
that. And all of a sudden, there's something that they uncovered, and all the corporations fled. They left everything behind, including the miners, including the workers. They just
What could it
didn't
be?
want to do anything with that. After that, some scientists and some marines went to investigate, and they as well fled the place. Didn't
Yeah,
want to do anything with that. And it's not like let's pack our things and leave. It's let's leave right now. Leave
totally.
everything behind, get on the ship, and let's go. And that was like the last official thing that went and visited the asteroid. After that was refugees, mercenaries, people escaping the law, and they found this place with a bunch of resources, a bunch of like structures that they could build, and they started building. They started like growing this mining operation into what is today the Iron Hive. So you have these
So
all
cool.
these layers. You have the layer that used to be the reactor for the mines. You have the mines. You also have the temple, which is where that thing that made everyone flee away resides. But you also have like the market and the lockers, which is inspired by something that exists right now, which is called the Lucky House. That is a coffin home, apartment building in Hong
Totally.
Kong, where it is on
Like
the
the
Iron
capsule
Hive
hotels.
page.
Yeah.
Yes, but way worse. Yeah, because it is like what like you can even stretch much. Like it is like a locker.
Oh
So
gosh.
the lockers gets their name from that. So that's where people live in the Iron Hive. You have the Jade Market, which is everything you could imagine, legal, not legal, in a single place. And you have also the Dragon Gate, where everyone gets in. And since everyone, like, this is a lawless place, but everyone depends on people visiting and spending their credits, or getting their credits stolen, or getting their
The circle of
contraband
life.
like taken away from. Yeah,
Yeah.
so the Dragon Gate is kept safe by the criminal syndicate, by the people. Like, we are all agreeing that we don't fight in the Iron Gate. Like, everyone just behave because we need people coming in. So you
Right.
have this like power struggle as well in there.
That sounds extremely exciting. I uh, I think like the only touch point I have as far as like cities riddle, and this is such a like a major city thing. I mean, Kowloon is its own thing, and but every big city has, especially ones that the more people you have, the more the crime percentage just goes up simply by simple math. So I'm broadcasting here from New York City. You are in Colombia. Where are you calling in from, by the way?
Yeah,
I didn't ask.
Bogota,
Oh,
Bogota,
very
Colombia.
cool. Okay, yeah. Well, greetings from Brooklyn. Thanks for joining me here. And yeah, just the bigger a city gets, the more those stats go up. But just like you said, I mean, it's home to so many people, and so it's like, what are you doing here? This is where we live. You can't criticize this. Yeah, that guy just got shot. Get out of here. And that's the mentality of diving into it. I think that I truly haven't really spent any time in a Mothership campaign in a city outside of like Prospero's Dream, the one that comes with the main core set. So I have been dying. Oh, that's not true. The Desert Moon of Karth, but that doesn't count at all. That's like just this
Mm.
giant open desert. It's like Westworld gone wrong. So it's there's this is much more cowboys and robbers type of a thing. Um, Super duper excited for that. I'm curious how many factions you have sort of mapped out in a place like the Iron Hive.
Well, I have like five criminal syndicates
Yeah.
that are outlined, like they do this, or have like a little description. One key point that I wanted to have throughout the whole book is, first, more inspiration than me telling you, hey, this is how they work, this is
Right.
how they do things, and you have to read this whole page on the criminal syndicate to understand it. It is just like a description and an image, and at the end of the whole booklet, there is like a close, like,
Mm.
hey, your Iron Hive doesn't have to look like mine, and that is just fine. Like, that is by design, because if your group enjoys more, I don't know, intrigue, it will look way different than my group that enjoys exploration, and another group that loves combat. And I
Just
want to
violence.
give you
Yeah.
these tools. Yeah. So yeah, I have five, but also six notable NPCs, and the notable NPCs also like hint at other factions, but they're
Mm.
not anywhere, and that is by design. Like, what is this faction? That there is a Golianovo, a small reference there for a pound of flesh, or Yandy. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's Roman Golianovo, and it's like, is he like, does he have another mafia here? Is this an extension of Prosper's Dream,
Yeah.
Redva? It is up to you. It's up to you
Right.
and how you develop the session for your people. If you have like strong relationship with Yandy, maybe you will have an easier time with Roman. So yeah, it is
That's
very
really
open
cool.
for people to do things.
What excites me so much about Mothership Month, and I would love to just get your general opinion on the community, on how it's been establishing your imprint here among these other incredible creators. But like, it's so natural to take these other pieces here on the backer kit, whether it's like the space pirate, like the death pays all debts scenario, or the plenty of scoundrels, all of these other resources. Where, of course, where are these people going to go? The Iron Hive is a perfect hub of all sorts of insidious activity to bring these incredible NPCs that are being generated and other stuff into a setting that they can really hatefully call home. How has your experience been among the Mothership offerings, and which ones are exciting for you?
Oh man,
I know they're all exciting. We
I have to
understand
do,
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
I have to cover my like credit card's ears every time and eyes and everything. Put it like upside down and hide it every time I go into Backer Kid. I promised myself 16 was the top, the maximum, and
Whew.
spent like 400 bucks on that. Uh,
Wow.
but let's see.
I had to cut
Well,
myself off at 10. I was like, there's just I don't even have a big enough bookshelf here in New York for that. So,
there's one
um,
here that says something about sit, stay, play data looks incredible.
oh
I don't know
wow,
if you have
yeah,
heard
I've
of
heard
that
that one.
one.
Hey, yeah, nagging suspicion it could be pretty cool. I like to think that like the dog eat dog module, which we may have something to do with, is one because it's a prison here at the Fern Kennel Club, is a place very naturally when things go terribly in the Iron Hive, they wind up a few years later at a place like Redfern because they just sailed too close to the sun, legally speaking, in space. So as opposed to literally, which you can do in Mothership. Yeah,
Yep.
but yeah,
Let's see. In terms of like visual, I'm a very visual buyer. So
yeah,
if
yeah.
I scroll through the your story page and it has pretty pictures, I'm back in. Like I'm not reading anything, I'm back in. And the one that has like I'm just in love with the visual is Johnson Square. I love
It's
everything
so
that has
fun,
to do
right?
with their art. It's so amazing.
You have to.
Omen
I don't have
Drum.
a link for it right here, but you've got to check out their video is on YouTube. Have you seen the video they created for Johnson Squared? It is bananas. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Please keep going.
Oh, I don't think the video that I did see was the dose makes the poison. The dose makes the poison. That is
Also very good.
amazing. It's
Yeah,
so well produced.
yeah.
Uh, but yeah, I've backed so many. PK 49 has such like a
Lone
strong
Archivist,
visual
shout out.
identity.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing, incredible. Uh, but yeah, let me go ahead and ask you about yours because it
Oh,
says
okay.
10 new breeds of genetic horrors, but we haven't got anything. And let's ask something that was asked yesterday to Doug Violet. Which one is your favorite, if you can, if you have one?
Oh yeah, you mean of our horrors? That's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
The you actually stole one of my questions from you, but I'm glad. No, we'll reverse it. We'll judo flip it. Because the big question being like, why Mothership as a system for spaces like these is a big one I like to think about. And one thing that I love about your acacia metaphor into a threefold, and I promise this will go back into which dog is my favorite, but is that the horror doesn't have to just be like a three-headed monster or a spooky ghost. Like you can have a virus that like controls. So yeah, like you can try and quantify it in a monster manual, but it's so much bigger than the space it occupies. And so I'm really thrilled. One, there's lots and lots of dogs in Dog Eat Dog, obviously, because it's a canine rehabilitation prison, and so there's things that are just going poorly. But one thing I'm excited about is expanding the borders of what horrors can be, whether that's NPCs, guards, a disease I'm toying around with that we haven't created yet. Jack, if you're watching, my design partner, Jack Panic of Dungeon Club, one thing that I really want to push is like a rabies virus outbreak that's happening at the prison, because how cool would that be? Like to have guards foaming at the mouth and you're not sure what the deal is. and they're just extra dangerous. But yeah, we have two that we've dropped for just like free on like Reddit and the Mothership Discord and in the Panic Table Discord that belong to the one shot that got unlocked because everything was got unlocked because everything was funded. And yeah, I would have to say right now that there are things in the woods outside of Fern Kennel Club, which, just for a little bit of context for you, is an old school penitentiary and dog kennel that's from early Earth. And in our universe, a really catastrophic thing happened that changed the atmosphere and stuff. So it takes place in the Vermont archipelago, and someone took this old school prison and updated it to 2189 or whatever it is, where dogs, though they used to be extinct, are now once again being resurrected, sort of Jurassic Park style. They've figured out a way to create dogs and then use those dogs to rehabilitate prisoners. And the dogs are also quite valuable. They get shipped for more money than, because they're so rare. Just there's no other place in the galaxy where dogs exist. And so companies are very hungry to buy these up. But for some reason, there are things that are the shape of dogs, but are not dogs and not even necessarily arranged in the correct order in the woods outside of this walled prison. So I've taken to calling them wrong dogs. We were going to call them raw dogs, but Jack then ran with, we just dropped raw dog. He just created, out of the brilliance of his mind, sort of an overarching option for... I realized, and forgive my attention deficit disorder, that I started to talk about the one-shot that was coming through this where 3 wild dogs escape and you play the guards instead of the prisoners, and then I totally didn't say any of that. But... Raw dog. He created this godlike sentience that happens to be in dog form, and it's raw as in rules as written. So this creature can only attack you if you fail your sanity save in perceiving it. It looks like a dog, but very much in like speaking of Latin America, like the ancestral like coyote spirit. It's taken on this trickster shape, and it, unlike everything else in the game, is aware that your characters are being played by people sitting around a table. So, like, it talks to the players, not to the characters, and then you have to make sanity saves to avoid that. If you fail, then it adds the sanity score that you failed onto its combat check. And so it's there to like break the fourth wall. It's very meta, and it also consumes things that aren't rules as written in the core Mothership rule set. So that's definitely the most abstract monster, and I've been talking a long time, but that's just a little flavor of what's going on at Dog Eat Dog. How about you, horror-wise?
That is amazing.
I so much all at once.
Breaking that fourth wall.
Yeah.
Well, the Iron Hive has only one horror, and it's the reason why the corpus fled and why the scientists fled. And it has a similar, but not with sanity, but with fear. So you will use your fear save instead of your combat during the encounters with this creature.
Cool.
The creature doesn't really attack. It is just there to make you panic and to make you to instill fear in you, and it feeds into that fear and then lets you go. Like, okay, I have my share. You can leave. It's called a Fovovore, which is Latin for fear eater.
Awesome.
So yeah, this is the guy, and it uses panic checks, and it heals the amount of a failed panic check. So it has all these mechanics that I thought were really cool to include into a combat situation. So yeah, and the little title, I love the little title that I made because it's fighting fear itself. So
that rocks. Man, I can't wait. One thing that we were talking about behind the curtain before we started the stream, because we were like, yeah, we're doing all these creator interviews. Why the heck aren't we running instances of this? So stay tuned later in the month as Mothership Month is going on, because I'm pretty sure we're going to have Abra back to run perhaps the Iron Hive for us, and we'll get to see some of this up close and personal. So I am thrilled about that. But because time is short, I want to do two things. One, chat. Hey, thanks so much for being here. At any point, if you have any questions or accusations you'd like to throw our way, I'll try and keep a lookout for those as we interview Abra here. And yeah, you know what to do. In the meantime, we teased at it earlier, but I just want to celebrate that there are incredible things happening in the RPG scene in Central and South America. Can you care to comment on that?
Yeah, I feel like every year there's more interest, and the conventions, the role-playing areas on the conventions get bigger and bigger. There are amazing communities here in Colombia, both like in person and online. There's like Azathoth, which does more mostly in-person thing, but there's also Rol en Casa or Roll at
Mm-hmm.
Home,
Yeah.
and they are solely on Discord, and they were born in the pandemic. Like, hey, let's do something during this time, and Camilo, which leads the community, started that, and it is a great place to play things. As far as like games, you of course have a huge influence of D&D, but also you have a lot of Vampire the Masquerade. Like, it is amazing how big World of Darkness, I think yeah, World of
Yeah.
Darkness is in Latin America, especially in Venezuela. Venezuela, like some cities have like their own setting on the city, and they play there on their
Awesome.
city, which is really really cool. And I always find a bit frightening to listen to someone speaking about their World of Darkness game, because everything sounds like so real, like they were there. uh but yeah, the scene is clearly like very very alive, and I've seen a lot of Morkborg and Mothership starting to creep in and
OSR is crushing it
expand.
down there. Yeah.
Yeah. Some people don't like it. Some people like feel like they need the rules, but others really embrace the freedom of an
Mm.
OSR. So, and I've been one of those spreading the word on that server, doing Mothership and Morkborg and Troika. So, and I have my books here in like to hold in my hands and sift through. So yeah, it is a very nice scene, and I think I can kind of segue into mentioning that one
Sure.
of the secret goals of the Iron Hive and this whole campaign was exactly that, like shining a light in Latin America and say, hey, we are making things here, and these are the things like that we are not just starting. We have years in experience playing games. Look at what we can do, and all the artists participating and collaborating in the Iron Hive are from Latin America. So it's just a big boost. Like, hey, check this out.
That rocks. Would you mind talking a little bit about the people you are collaborating with and what you've got going on inside Iron Hive?
Yeah, we have Paula. They're all in the story page. So if you want to like look at them, you can go ahead on the collaborating artist, I think it's called.
Totally.
So Paula did Xiaomi Feng, which has grown into a lot of people. Is this AI that it was part of the initial mining operation, and she just stayed there the whole time and has adapted, and now infects anything that comes
Cool.
into the Iron Hive, and
Yeah.
just serves as this. It is benevolent. Like, I want to make that clear. It is not
Right.
a malicious AI. It's benevolent, and everyone loves her. It's like the mascot of the Iron Hive. Uh, Andres Cruz is doing 5 NPCs, but is also going to do, if we hit that stretch goal that is coming in like 600 euros more, he's doing those 5, but also will do a comic book, a
Mm.
12-page comic book.
Oh,
He's going
dope.
to design everything and illustrate it. Uh, Alex Rojas is doing the Rust Rats everything. So he's doing the patch right now, but at 7,000 we unlocked a small book, like a 4 pages booklet of the Rust Rats. Rust Rats is a faction, a criminal syndicate,
Mm.
and they are these scavengers that will take apart anything on the Iron Hive, anything derelict. Although their definition of something derelict is very loose, so you might find someone just disassembling like a cybernetic arm that was left unattended by a
Awesome.
second, and then rearrange this into pieces, parts, and anything that you are sure, like you look at it and it's like that shouldn't exist and that shouldn't work. Like it's impossible, but it works. Imagine like orc technology from Warhammer, something
Yeah.
like that. Like it's like this shouldn't be
Just
working, and
bashed
I'm not
together.
sure for how long it will work. But hey,
It's working
so
right
yeah,
now.
Alex.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the important thing. Alex Rojas does Think. So I don't know if you are familiar with that, but it's like a lowbrow art style.
Yes.
Lowbrow is like pin-up, hot rods, but also Think. Think
Hmm.
comes from Red Fink. The
Yeah.
artist hated Mickey
Very punk
Mouse,
rock.
so he made Red Fink. Yeah,
Yeah.
so he makes Fink art, and that's why the patch has this like Fink style of this rat
Cool.
with like a blowtorch. So he's doing that. And Ricky, Les Messier, she's doing. She did the cover. She did the hero banner for the campaign. And she's gonna do a bunch of other things. I love her art, and it's just an honor to have a friend so talented. And when I told her like, "Hey, I'm doing this project. Well, what do you think? Like, do you want to collab?" And she went like, "Of course, I want to collab with something horror and Mothership." And she even helped develop some of the backstory and like little things about the Iron Hive. And at the end of the book, there's like a report from Hive Corp Industries that came out from something that she wrote. So yeah, this is the team that is helping make this thing a reality.
That's so exciting. I'm curious. Oh, chat asks the Xiaomi Fang the AI there. Is it Pwin asks? Is it like a pixie, a Tinkerbell like character? The AI that runs the Iron Hive.
Yeah, you can play her like that. I'm sure you have seen a lot of her, but oh, never mind. The source
She's the main icon,
on the
right?
iPad project.
Oh
Yeah, yeah,
no.
yeah. It is her. It is blurry because publisher in the iPad missed something. But yeah, she's this jolly character that wants to help. She was built initially. It is not a personal assistant. It is a personnel assistant. So Hive Corp doesn't have the time or the resources to go and train every single of their workers. So they
Right.
have this personal assistant to go around and help and remind workers what is meant to be done on the mines, the safety precautions, and all these things. But when you lose the mines, when it just progresses and evolves, you have this character that knows something about the structure of the hive and what's going on. May not be like the perfect tourist, but she's just this companion that is trying to help you with anything that you need. Like the base of that AI is go ahead and help some workers, and now the workers everyone visiting the Iron Hive. So yeah, she can
Right.
be this kind of Tinkerbell, jolly person, but if you want to play her a bit more, I don't know, strict or a bit more robotic and rigid, you can go ahead and
Totally up
do
to the
that.
warden, right? Yeah.
If and only if you want to play her a bit evil, you can go ahead and do that. But I don't know. I really like doing like okay, she infects everything, but is benevolent.
It's
Benevolent.
totally
That is
just
like
a
what.
relief. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but you can do that. Like I'm not forcing
Well,
anyone to do anything.
it's about balance, right? In Mothership, like if everything is up to 11 scary, then you get numb quick. I find that like only like small instances of any play session are going to be like ah, and most of the time you need the texture of the world, or even like with a character that you've developed here in this AI, comic relief right after things are insane. Then you like escape into the next room and she's like, hello, and that's just an incredibly pleasant, totally tone deaf experience, so that you're like running for your life, and also someone's like, make sure to sign out. And that's totally cute for me. As you've seen here, chat, this Mothership Month is really changing our lives in a way I don't think we imagined it could. And so I'm excited to see where these projects go. Both of us are very close to stretch goals, so please check out the Iron Hive linked below, because there's places to go, there's things to do, there's cool stuff to get. Likewise, and just as Abra had mentioned here, we're only like 3K away from doubling the amount of monsters that we have in Dog Eat Dog. So hit those backerkit pages and check that out if you've been on the fence. Or heck, just upgrade to the highest tier. We won't blame you. Your significant others may, though. What you got?
If you need a boost as to the comic book, I can show you here. This is the work of Andres Cruz. So if you needed like some incentive of how cool his work is, look at this. It could be this type of art, but set in the Iron Hive. And my plan for that is to hand everything to the guy, Rodrigo, that is going to do the script. Tell him everything and tell him, make a story. Like, if you can consult me, but I don't want to do anything with it. Like, I want to see what inspires you, what element you want to grab. Make a story, and it has to be 12 pages. That's it. So I trust a lot of the artists. I often like tell them my idea and my vision, and do whatever you want.
Right.
So and no one has like defrauded me yet. So yeah, or betrayed me and then delivered something that I didn't want. So yeah, that is my plan with the comic book. So yeah,
that
we
rocks.
are very close.
Jack Panic, my design partner on Dog Eat Dog, says in the chat, those comics are dope. I entirely agree, chum. Thanks for tuning in. It's good to see you here. I want to explore a few different things with you here, Abra, while we have got the time. You are a professional DM, and so I want to take a peek inside your mind as far as what goes into specifically for you prepping a Mothership session. What are the things you're thinking about beforehand, etc. Is that a fair question?
It is a fair question. It doesn't have an answer because I was a professional DM, so I was only Dungeons and Dragons.
Sure.
But for my players, it depends on what session. If it's a session one, I do have a script and I do have like a step by step of this like story that I'm telling, and all of a sudden, oh, a player character, and you go ahead and I like give the spotlight to the player. Go ahead and describe yourself. Okay, cool. Now give me my spotlight. We like traverse all these things, but after that first session, it is very free form. I like to prepare with just bullet points. Like, hey, this is going to happen. This is going to, or I want this to happen. I want this to happen. It may not happen. Like, the players might just make 180 and do something completely different, and they will. But yeah, I don't tend to do things like too rigid for myself either, and I think that's something that seeped through and is now on the Iron Hive. Like, I don't want anything rigid because I like that freedom, and that freedom gives players freedom to do
Totally.
things, to act. So I really like. I love new players, and I
Right.
pride myself with the fact that I have introduced a lot of people into role-playing games, and I love new players because they don't have any like
There's no
preconception
baggage. They
or
just bring,
anything,
yeah. They
and
just play the movie in their
and
heads.
and
It's great.
I and you can see and sense that moment when it clicks and they start like experimenting and doing things that you go, oh, you're getting it,
Yeah.
you're now playing. So yeah, I really like that freedom. So
There's always that
yeah.
so can I punch the bartender moment. Like whenever you're playing with someone that like, I just want to hit him with a wrench, and you're like, okay. If you do that, that's not going to be great, but also let it rip. It's so exciting. Oh, speaking of incredible, I meant to bring this up, but my brain is slowly melting like corpse rotting in a vat. Why? That's a terrible metaphor. Why would I compare it to that? That's awful. Yikes! Long days. No, but shout out to Spicy Tuna Gameware. Are you familiar with the work of Marco Serrano in the Love him. There's a
Yep.
special cameo of his faction. He just did a bunch of incredible work for a faction called the Yucatan Tech Co. If you're familiar with this, yeah, it's I loved it so. Please, do you have it right off
I think
screen?
I
I love
have.
that.
I have. I think it's in the box. I have the little booklets
Yeah, they're
for the
great.
like catalog, and actually the Reds catalog. It's inspired on those.
Oh, awesome! Yeah, I love it so much that one of our characters in the Fancy Pants Panic Table actual play we're going to release is property of the Yucatan Tech Co, and he has the logo tattooed on his neck. So I'm really excited for that to get its day in its own. Marco, you've been such a cool collaborator to talk to. Every time I'm like, I'm not sure about this game mechanic or this thing to do in the community, Spicy Tuna is the first person on the scene to be like, here's what I would do. Sit at my feet. And so love you, buddy. Thanks for being really cool. Check out his stuff. I want to, before we run out of time, absolutely check in on what I think is the most important feature on your page, that 500 click goal. Tell us about it and how it's doing so far.
I made that today. I didn't even like
It's
think about
so
mentioning
funny.
it. I was going through the polls and things, and it let me do like an action base, and it's meant to be like follow me here, follow me there, or
Mm-hmm.
do this and do that. I was like, what if I just redirect the button to the same poll and make people just click on that and see the number go up?
The
The
button
the
makes the
the,
number go.
the title. Yeah, the title of the poll is just the Iron Hive backers make number go up. That's it. The description is bigger number good, and the bottom is click to make number go up, and that's it. There's no reward. Oh yeah, the description in parentheses says this will do absolutely nothing. So I don't know. I just felt like it was funny. I sometimes do things because yeah, you're gonna be oh. Speaking of doing things because they're funny, I was
Yeah.
testing like printing things. I have following like the TKG's I don't know tradition of the back cover. I'm doing a random search table. The first, this is a teaser. The first one is half a credit stick. Sadly, it's just the tracking and ID chips. Credit storage was on the other half. That's the first one. The last one is the other half of the credit stick. Contains one D100 keys AR. No tracking or ID chips present. So yeah, it's something like, oh, that's funny. Let me
That's
add
just
that.
part of
And
it.
that's it. That's the whole process.
I love
So yeah.
that.
Ooh, before I forget this,
Please, we've got 15 minutes. Hit me.
as everyone knows, there was like an incentive for the first 48 hours, and then the incentive stopped counting. We went through the backers to see if anyone like hit, I don't know, like 1 minute after that, and we added that manually because I don't know, to be fair. And that got me thinking, like, who is my first backer? And I went to the first page and I saw there, Cameron, you were the first backer for the Iron
Me?
Hive.
It's because
Yeah.
I believed. I hope I didn't do. Please tell me I didn't do like the $1 non-committal one. That I actually did something substantial. Is that?
No, yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah, you did the one of the good ones, and I
Hey,
went ahead
man.
and went to Dog Eat Dog and upgraded my pledge to the logs. I was like, okay, you earned it.
That's just salesmanship right there. No, yeah, I've been eyeballing the Iron Hive since I found out it was part of it. It's just so cool. Speaking of which, Nobody Wake the Bugbear is in the chat. They are Australia's premier mothership streaming group, and they say, "Congrats on funding, Abraham. You've done it. Hey, thanks for being here, cousins. It's really good to see y'all.
Thank you.
I can't tell if they hate it when I call them cousins, so I'm gonna keep doing it. Just double down on that. Um, whew. What was I going to say? I totally. Well, oh yes. So most importantly, in the Iron Hive community page, you're gonna see a button that makes numbers go up. Right now it is at 11. I demand to see that get to 500 by the time the campaign's finished. So comic book on the horizon, very attainable stretch goal. What else do we have to look forward to before the end of the campaign?
Oh, we are debating on what
Mm-hmm.
to do next. Some of our backers have said like, that's enough. That's good. If something else comes as a stretch goal, it will be either an upgrade for an existing thing or digital. We don't want to throw too many wrenches into the cogs.
Don't overpromise. Yeah.
Uh, so- yeah, so our goal right now is to complete fulfillment and get a really cool product into someone's hands, and to mainly to read stories of other people's Iron Hive. That will be really, really cool. So I'm looking forward to that.
Awesome. As we wind down here, there's just enough time to, if anybody here in the chat has questions, go ahead and lay them on us as we make polite small talk with each other. I'm really excited about the possibility of running some actual plays. Also, yeah, there's 13 of us here. We'll say this casually. This isn't the gospel. We're scheming on doing an extra secret like flash sale on the Black Friday through Cyber Monday slot that's coming up here. For us, just a heads up, keep your eye on our campaign page, because I'm pretty sure, in case you missed our previous backer kit of Void Stream, the found footage horror add-ons for Mothership, that might be making a special guest appearance in about a week that you can snap up in case you missed it when the backer kit was up previously. So be on the lookout for that. We're also running Dog Eat Dog, the actual play, panic table style, and I want to get games going here with Abra, with Chris Air, with several of the other makers. I'm gonna hand you the mic. What are you thinking about? What are you feeling? How's this interview going?
I feel like it's going great. I mean, I'm looking forward to running more things. I love
Yeah.
DMing. I love GMing. Uh, I don't know, like building something and then, oh, this reminds me. I was watching yesterday's interview with Doc Violet, and I think it was really funny because she said like maps are essential. It was like, are they? And then she explained about Aphantasia, and it like clicked because I'm on the other side of the spectrum.
Mm.
I have hyperphantasia. I my apple has flavor, has
Oh,
taste, has all these
the
things. I was like,
colors.
oh,
Yeah.
of course, I don't feel like maps are essential. So, uh, I don't know. Like I really found that like interesting. Like, oh, I haven't thought of this, and maybe that's why when my players start asking like where they are, it's like you're obviously here, and it's
Mm-hmm.
going there, and I see a map, and I can imagine everything. Like, oh, and move them through. And I think that that has fueled this whole development process because it's like I have something in my mind, and then I like take a snapshot and put it into words, but it's not everything. So
Well, right, and that's the
so
magic
yeah.
of it, right? Like everybody at the table is picturing something completely different from the person next to them. And so, yeah, especially in Mothership, because I'm the same way. I've got just a full blown movie going in my head at all times. The tastes, the sights, the sounds, but so much of that doesn't come out of my mouth as I'm describing a scene. And so everyone's like, it's very good and well that a giant lobster shaped robot has busted into the auditorium. However, where are we standing? How far away is it? And is there any cover? Because all I've said is, ah! And so to have somebody chime in on that is, yeah. I just had a friend who never plays any RPGs who was like, can you just like doodle it on a napkin? And that was a game changer for me. Suddenly, now I just have a dry erase mat where I'm just like if it's virtual, I'll just like have, if I don't have maps, I'll just like make little circles or squares. And that's all I really need. But man, looking at some of the cool ass maps that are coming out of these third party projects here, how could you pass up on those? I don't even know. Oh, I've got a question for you. You feeling like answering something? Let's review it together.
Sure.
Lucas Gruber parentheses Ramses says, "How is the process of building upon a shared theme with the other creators? How is the connection made with Operation Golden Cut?" That's a great question.
Oh, yeah. I feel like that connection was easy because I started reading and it was like an asteroid where there's this war for this golden, like the liquid gold, and I just thought like liquid gold and honey have like one step between them to like mix them up, and that brings in Hive Corp Industries because their logo is this hive. And
Gold,
it's like
yeah.
there are so many things to mix with Operation Golden Cut, and every backer will have that backed both of them, or the backs every both of them will have extra content from both of us. We have some ideas, and I really like content like this in this size that I can have easily and read and go through. This is a sample page from the Iron Hive. The actual size will be like this, but I like content this size, so it will be from both of us. I think it will be three like index card sized content with something that you could use from the Iron Hive into Operation Golden Cut and vice versa, but you can
Cool.
also use it anywhere. It could be also used anywhere else. So that's cool. And we have ideas, but we'll leave it to the community and the backers to decide what ideas do they want to see on an index card sized handout.
Yeah, the two of you are making a really good use of backerkit's like community page stuff, so I strongly recommend checking out Iron Hive's community page so that you can be a part of those discussions because you're making the cool stuff alongside them. So don't miss out on that. More questions. Diego the Goat, which is an incredible name, says, "How no, are there any space tropes you want to explore that you need an excuse to get into?" I'm fascinated.
Ooh, uh, I'm not that good with tropes and like I haven't seen more than just the first two aliens.
Yeah.
Uh, let's
I've got one
see.
while you're thinking here.
I
The what one thing
Go
that I've
ahead,
been
go ahead, go ahead.
dying to figure out how to get into. Actually, Jack, if you're still in the stream, this will be my pitch for it. This was I popped out of the woods on TikTok and was like, "Dear Dungeon Club," which is Jack's operation, and Jack is the design partner that we have here on Dog Eat Dog and now dear friend. But I was like, okay, what if it was Ewoks from Star Wars, but instead of like celebrating with everybody after you defeat the Empire on their home planet, you realize they're eating the people? And so we wanted to make like a trifold pamphlet called like Adorable Little Bastards. And that was and so like there's just all these different things that can go wrong as you rescue an indigenous tribe of cute bear people. And yeah, that ballooned into us doing something totally unrelated in Void Stream. We're like, we'll start small with a trifold, and it turned into a giant multimedia project that had nothing to do with cute little guys. But ever since then, I've been thinking about what we could do with those cute little guys. So if you like Adorable Little Bastards, let us know in the chat because I might resurrect that. Anyway, all of which to say, I want a piece of space opera, but not the whole Star Wars. I'm not. There's other RPGs that do that way better, and so I want to do what Mothership does best, which is an isolated scenario of like, what the hell in the middle of a Star Wars. How about you?
Ooh, I don't know how much of a trope it is, but I want to explore with like virtual things that got loose into the real world.
Oh, cool. Like
So
Tron.
I have a yeah, I have a title, and this is an insight into what could be a trifle or adventure in like 2025. I don't know when, but it's
Yeah.
there's a dead pixel in the Splendor Station. So what about if a dead pixel comes into real life, like, and it starts expanding? Like
Cool.
what would happen? Well, how do you even tackle that? There's another. This is my notes and how they work. There is a single line that says the Earth was a machine. That's everything. So this idea of, hey, the planet that we're on turns out it is something bigger, like it's a
Uh oh.
Death Star that no one knew about. Like, what is going on. The things start jutting
Yeah.
out of the ground, things like that. So yeah, there are some things in the notes tab that eventually will become into something.
Totally cool. I've got one more question here for you before we close it tonight. This is from the Panic Table Discord's very own Jonathan Shadow Raven. Which, what up, homie? So cool to see you here in the chat. Thanks for being here and supporting us. He says Cameron forced me to utilize a virtual tabletop for the first time. Oh yeah, we threw him this totally cool birthday party stream. And it was fun, but it was the first time he'd used a VTT, and we had a blast. He says, "What are your preferred methods of play when you're? I'm imagining online. Do you have a preferred VTT or when you're in person, etc.?"
Yeah, yeah. I'm a Foundry VTT evangelist. I used to use Roll20 a lot, but once I found out what Foundry can do, and I'm a developer, I'm a Python developer, so and a senior one, so I have
Oh
a lot
wow.
of background into fiddling with things, with code. So Foundry gives me the option to do a lot of things. I've done so many things with like animations, like you make an attack and this whole animation happens. So it starts to feel more like a game than like a video game than a tabletop one, but it is like exploiting the benefits of a virtual tabletop and like really sinking your teeth in, okay, we are virtual, we can see each other, but let's focus on the cool things that we can do. So yeah, Foundry, it is my preferred VTT, and I feel like one of the other special things that I do and I love doing is having an online radio for the players. So I have my server, and I host like from it is Rocket Broadcast, it's called, and I send everything that I'm listening to the server, and everyone can just get the URL to the server and listen in. So it is this like multimedia experience that really takes advantage of the digital side of things. I don't have that much experience in person, sadly, because all my players are like scattered throughout the globe. Uh, but yeah, I'm like a almost purely virtual DM or GM warden.
I am excited that Mothership, Sean McCoy and Alan Girding, creators of Tuesday Night Games, on their like kickoff day announcement, have hinted that they're going to be unveiling Mothership's very own custom VTT coming out in a couple days. So I'm over them. I love the app. It's one of the best ways to get people started on the game quick. Like if like I'm very much a sucker for rolling up a character with dice and pencils, but if you don't have that stuff in front of you and you just have the app and it's like 3 touches and boom, you've got a character. Oh, good night. I just love it.
Yeah.
Um, we are at time, and I feel like we're just having a blast here. I would keep. We'll save it for when we do an actual play together. That'll be cool.
Oh,
Friends, thank you so much for tuning in. As I've said before, the Iron Hive is so close to it. It's extremely cool stretch goal of making comic books in world. So please check out their page below. Abra, any closing thoughts here?
mm, I'm over the moon and back with the success of everything, and thank you so much for showing. It validates so many hours of me just coming home and writing things. This whole thing is written and laid out by me, so it validates, and it surprised me like this many people want to see what I wrote. Wow, that is amazing. So thank you so much for the support.
We are at 22K right now. If the dog eat dog prison module reaches 25K, we will be doubling the amount of monstrosities that come in each book. So please look into that, because we'd like to just dump as many horrors on you as possible. That's our job. That's our mission. That's our goal. We love each of you with an animal-like ferocity. Thank you for tuning in. And Abra, until I see you next time, have a great night.
Same to you, man.